This is a real kind of page. It's sitting on the open internet right now. No login screen, no firewall stopping you, no password to crack. Nobody hacked this. Nobody broke in. Google already knows exactly where it is. The only question is whether you do. By the time this video ends, you'll be running the exact same search patterns professional penetration testers use in the first 5 minutes of a real engagement. And I'm also going to show you exactly where the legal line sits, because it is not where most tutorials tell you it is. Get that line wrong, and the gap between sharp recon skill and criminal charge is a lot thinner than you'd think. I'm a professional hacker, and I teach ethical hacking the way it should be taught, hands-on and honest about the parts that actually matter. Let's get into it. When and how Google Dorking started. In 2002, a security researcher named Johnny Long started doing something a little strange. He began collecting search strings, short phrases you could type straight into Google, that exposed things websites never meant to expose: configuration files, login panels, unsecured cameras. He put it all into a book called Google Hacking for Penetration Testers, and alongside it, a public list of these searches. That list didn't die with the book. In 2010, Johnny handed it over to Offensive Security. Yes, the same team behind Kali Linux and the OSCP certification. And today, it's called the Google Hacking Database, or GHDB. Free, public, still actively maintained by real researchers as we speak. So here's the reframe before we touch a single operator. Google Dorking isn't hacking Google. You're not breaking anything or bypassing anything. You're talking to Google in a more precise dialect, using operators Google documents itself. But let's draw the line right now. Searching public indexed information is legal. What you do after you click is where things get serious. If a search surfaces a password file and you use those credentials to log into something, that's not research anymore. That's unauthorized access, and laws like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act exist for exactly that moment. Let's start simple and build up. The site operator. It is one of the most foundational and powerful tools in Google Dorking. It instructs Google to filter its search results and only return pages that belong to a specifically declared domain, subdomain, or top-level domain. The syntax is straightforward. You type the operator, followed immediately by the target domain. The real power is combining operators. In Google Dorking, the site operator is rarely used alone. Its true power comes from chaining it with other operators to find specific vulnerabilities, exposed files, or hidden login portals within a single target. Here are a few practical examples of how it is combined. Or, the pipe symbol, searches for either term. Site example.com, file type PDF, or file type docx. File type? Filters by file extension. Now you're only seeing PDFs that exist somewhere on that site. Huge for finding reports, manuals, or anything that lives as a file rather than a web page. Discovering subdomains. Site example.com minus site www.example.com. The minus sign excludes a term. Subtract the noise when a search gets cluttered. By using the minus sign, this excludes the main www site, forcing Google to reveal other indexed subdomains like dev.example.com, mail.example.com. In title and in URL. Search inside the page title and the URL. Locating login pages. Site example.com, in URL login, or in title sign in. Searches specifically within the target domain for pages that have login in the URL or sign in the page title. Now let's go from the alphabet to full sentences, the kind of combined patterns real GHDB entries actually look like. I'm grouping these by what they're used to find, because that's how professionals actually think during recon. Not which operator, but which category of mistake am I hunting for? Exposed directories and backups. In title :index of space log.txt is one of the most famous dorks that exists. It hunts for open directory listings containing log files. Log files sound boring until you realize they often record IP addresses, error traces, sometimes even usernames from failed login attempts. It shows pages where a server is basically leaving its file cabinet wide open. This next one shows up in breach write-ups constantly. In title :index of SQL or zip or tar or gz or backup. It hunts for exposed backup files, and a backup often means an entire database sitting in a folder with nothing guarding it. And this one is a legend in this field. In title :index of wp-config.php. WordPress powers a massive share of the web, and its config file, when exposed, hands over the database username, password, and secret keys in plain text. If you want one single example of why misconfiguration is scarier than malware, this is it. With these misconfigurations, Google doesn't create security problems. It reveals the ones that already exist. And the most 2026 relevant one on this list, file type :env database password. .env files are the modern wp-config.php. Every framework from Node to Laravel to Django stores database credentials and API keys in them, and rushed cloud deployments accidentally publish them constantly. So far, we've been looking for forgotten files. But files aren't the only thing Google can expose. Next comes something even more sensitive. Category 3, exposed devices. And I want to slow down here. Unlike leaked files, simply viewing these results may itself invade someone's privacy. In title webcam.xps and in URL /view.shtml. What do you think Google returns? These are two of the most cited dorks in Google hacking history. They surface unsecured network cameras with no authentication in front of the video feed. This category is different from a leaked file, and it deserves its own line, not just the general disclaimer. With a document, viewing it is one thing and acting on it is another. With a live camera, viewing it is the line. If a search like this surfaces a real camera feed of a real person's home or business, watching that feed without their knowledge isn't a gray area the moment you act on it. It's a privacy violation the moment you watch it. The legitimate professional use case here is entirely defensive. Security teams run these exact searches against their own organization's device inventory to find cameras deployed without authentication so they can lock them down before anyone else finds them first. Now, one important call out before we move on. If you've seen cache : on a Dorking list, including some floating around right now, skip it. Google deprecated cache in 2024. It used to show you a stored snapshot of a page, which was genuinely useful, but it simply doesn't work anymore. Related : is gone too, retired in 2023, and link : /inanchor : technically still exist, but barely return anything real. If a resource is still teaching any of these as current, it hasn't been updated in years, and now you know better than it does. You don't have to invent every search from scratch either. Remember the GHDB from earlier? It's organized into categories very close to the ones we just walked through. Footholds, sensitive directories, vulnerable files, login portals, and more. Professional pen testers and bug bounty hunters use this exact database as a starting checklist during the reconnaissance phase of a real engagement. Here's the mindset shift that matters more than any single operator I just showed you. The exact same search that helps an attacker find an organization's exposed backup file is the search a defender should run against their own domain first. Self-dorking your own organization is a completely legitimate, completely legal security practice because you're always allowed to search yourself. And once you've squeezed everything Google alone can show you, the next move is going multi-engine. Bing has its own dork syntax. Shodan and Census index actual devices and services instead of web pages. That's a full video on its own, and it's coming. But before we get there, I need to tell you the part almost nobody says out loud when they teach this skill. Common beginner mistakes? Using real websites, assuming every result is a vulnerability, thinking Google dorking equals hacking, copy-pasting GHDB without understanding. Remember that page I showed you at the very start of this video? Found with one line, typed into a search bar. No malware, no phishing email, no breach. Just knowing exactly what to ask a search engine that's already indexed the visible internet. That's the uncomfortable truth about Google dorking. The barrier between aware and dangerous was never a technical wall. You just learned the technique in the last few minutes. It's not hard. The real barrier is intent and authorization. The same search, run by two different people for two different reasons, is either a defensive audit or a crime. That's exactly why this field is called ethical hacking. The ethics isn't a footnote bolted onto the technique. It is the skill. Google already knew where that page was. Today, now you know how to ask the right question. If this actually helped you understand Google dorking, instead of just handing you commands to copy-paste, that's the whole point of this channel. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next, because we're taking this same recon mindset into some more ethical hacking tools, where Google's index runs out and a whole different layer of the internet opens up. Drop a comment. Which operator surprised you the most, or which one you're going to go test safely on your own domain tonight? I'll see you in the next one.